Hello and good morning, everybody. It's Marcie Besecker, and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. And I am here to show you one of my favorite Christmas cards that I have done. Welcome, welcome, everybody. So I started this Christmas card like right after the Dahlias came out, right after the catalog started for the sale-a-bration. And I just loved that flower. As you know, I've done quite a bit with it. Hi, Crystal, Stephanie, Carol, Tashana. I can't see before that on my phone, so hello, everybody. So I've been wanting to get this card done. I have had 4 of these boxes full of die cuts and different pieces and things for this card. So I'm going to show you my process, kind of how I went through it. You'll get a lot more detail on my blog on how I did things, and that'll post after the video. Just give me some time to get that done. So these are the cards that I've done, and I've got a couple different cards for Christmas, but these are one of them. And then I did the envelopes. This is a little bit of the envelopes, but I also did the envelopes. And so I kind of made it look like a whole stationery thing, which is what I like to do. Hi, Katie. Hi, Nancy Lee. So I thought I would share this with you, and you can kind of see in this box, this is, I have a bunch of extra pieces in here. So I actually probably do another card or two, but I have some extras in here. And so I just decided, all right, I'm going to go ahead. Actually, somebody had told me, my upline said, you've got to do a video on that. So that's what I decided to do. She's so encouraging. So I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So I'll put my other video aside, and that'll probably be Wednesday because I leave Thursday. So Wednesday will not be a whip it up. I'm just going to do what I was going to do today. So I will, I have a really fun masculine card for Wednesday. I know, Linda, the time changed. So on my Facebook, Marcie Besecker Designs, I posted that don't forget it's time change and a reminder about my video last night. So make sure when you're on there, you can kind of, you know, you'll get some messages and stuff of, you know, the time's changing. I'm going to be on tomorrow, and I even gave you a sneak peek of what I'm doing. So, all right. Yeah. So when time changes, you think, oh, you have plenty of time. So I started some laundry and, you know, things like that. And I thought, oh, I should go grab something to eat. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I have 10 minutes left. And I'm like, what am I thinking? I got to hurry up. So, you know, the normal stuff, check the dog, do all that kind of stuff before I get online. Hopefully everybody remembers I'm online. So here we go. Hi, Perry. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. So I'm going to try not to rush through today's video because there's a lot of detail, and I don't want to miss it. I'm going to tell you some really good tips and tricks I did with my cut and scan, which also is super helpful with this card when you do a mass production, because I don't have, there's no dies for this set, for the Dahlias. So I'll share some of that information. But first, let's get a little fun and business out of the way. So Perry sent me this beautiful card with a lovely note inside. You truly inspire me. Isn't that nice? And there was birthday wishes in here and everything. It was very, very sweet. Perry, thank you. I can't tell you guys how much I love getting mail. I'm checking my focus really quick because it's kind of doing weird stuff and it's spinning on me. I was trying to fix the sharpness for when I'm focusing down, and when I bring the card up, it always looks blurry to me, but no fixing that. Oh, thanks, Karen. Hi, Kathy. Uh-oh, Debbie, I get it. Gail, I love this stamp set. I hope they bring it back. If you guys are demonstrators, go to the sandbox. And for those that aren't demonstrators, a sandbox is like a request box, kind of like a suggestion. Put that in there that we want this set. This set exactly. There's another Dahlia in Positive Thoughts, and it's not as pretty, but it is really nice. Debbie, Bonnie, Carol, hello, hello. Okay, so thank you, Perry, for my card. That was very, very sweet. I love getting happy mail. My husband's always like, oh, you got another card. And I'm like, I'm always so happy. Just makes my day. Okay. What else? Oh, so, okay. So I leave this Thursday. So I'll be here with a masculine card on Wednesday. Then Thursday is my day. I get to go see my granddaughter. So I'm really excited. I haven't seen her since the 4th of July, I believe. I went up there in February for her birthday. She came 4th of July. And now I get to go see her this week. So I'm really excited about it. And she's very excited. So I'll be doing that this week. So I'll be here Wednesday. Sunday I will not be here. I love the size because I make a... Oh, Gail, it's perfect for a big front of a card. You are right. Okay, so with that being said, I come back on Monday, and guess what is Tuesday night? Bingo. Okay, so I have a spinning thing on my screen, but it's the program that I'm using because I was trying to make those changes. So when I look like, uh-oh, something's wrong, I'm like, why is that spinning? Because it should have applied and fixed itself already. And I just changed it back because I was afraid it was going to do something weird. So hopefully it doesn't. So bingo, bingo, bingo. Bingo is Tuesday, the 16th. And here is a sneak peek of my cards we're going to do. There are 2 masculine cards. There's another Dahlia right there from another set. And so we're going to do something fun with that. So there is one fancy fold, some heat embossing, some bedazzling, of course. So you will get bedazzling in your kit. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you guys will join. You can join at marciebeseckerdesigns.com/events, or you can go up at the top across the screen. It says events and classes, and you could click on that. And when you click on that, just go down. It'll say bingo, classes, PDFs, different details. Thanks, Debbie. And so you can go and register there. And then towards the bottom of the registration, there's a form you got to fill out. But in red, it'll say you can pay here. Just click on that. Or you can just send it to my PayPal. It's my name. It's either marciebeseckerdesigns@yahoo.com or it's marcie@marciebeseckerdesigns.com. Either one will work. And so you can pay there. But if you pay through the PayPal, I have your address, everything ready for shipping, and it's really nice. So if you could do that. All right, so that is coming up. And also, again, I must say the join special right now is super great. For only $75, you get $125 in product. Again, I do get so many questions of people. They say the only thing that's scaring them is the quota. So let me give you just a quick short little thing and we'll get started. Is if you join today, the end of this quarter is December, but this doesn't count. You don't have to reach your quota this quarter. So you get this quarter and all of next quarter, which is the end of March, to get your $300 to stay current. Now, that being said, if you only get $250, in April is like your grace period. You can make up your difference. So if you sign up today for $75, you get $125 in product and 20% discount through the end of April. If you don't get your $300 by then you will just return to a customer and you will not be a demonstrator anymore, and that is perfectly fine. My thought to you is, of course, I would love to keep you as a demonstrator, but take the chance, give it a try. It's easier than you think. You spend more on crafting stuff than you think, and once your friends find out you're a demonstrator, they'll probably purchase from you. Also, you know they're purchasing anyway. And if you don't qualify at the end of April, there is no shame, no harm, no foul. You become back to a customer, but you gave it a try and you kind of found out what it's all about. We also have a bunch of pages that are full of inspiration that you can go look at, and you can go, look at everybody's stuff and ideas, and people ask questions, and it's a lot of fun and a great place to be to get more information. Okay, we are ready to get started. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. Of course, I do have my host code, so don't forget that if you are putting orders in. When you go to your checkout on your cart, it is above your totals and everything. It'll say add host code. Click on that and just add this code, and we will be set. And if you have any questions, always just message me and let me know. There are some bingo kits for the past available. They're linked below, and a couple card classes. So if you're interested in that, you can go there. You can also go straight to the bingo sign up for November there too. All right, let's get started. Okay, I feel like I wanted to rush through that stuff, and now the fun stuff. So here is the card we're going to be creating. Look how fun that is. Yes, it has bedazzle in, because the bedazzling and the Dahlia was available when I started this. Now, that being said, I know a lot of people have this product, the Dahlia set and the bedazzle. A lot of people ask me or comment and say, I wish people would do videos with retired stuff, because we have it and we want to use it. So that's what I decided to do. It is a favorite of mine, both of these. So I decided I wanted to share with you, because there's a lot of tips and tricks in this. Now, if you don't have this set, you can always get another kind of flower. Look at all your stamp sets, look at all your dies, and kind of say, man, I wish I had, a little flower that just kind of popped up at the top right here. So I pulled these out. So I don't have the image on here. It will be on my blog post, but I put the dies out next to the stamps, to the dies. So for example, let me show you what we're going to be using. All of this. Now, like I said, you can coordinate different things. So we're going to use this branch from the Harvest set, okay? We're going to use this wreath from the Season Swirl. Okay, you're going to get a picture like this on the blog post, so don't worry about it. Forever Flourishing. This is what we're going to use from that. And then the Meadow dies is where I used this flower. Okay, so this is the picture you're going to see on my blog, kind of like this, so that you know which die came from which set. Okay, so this is oh, thank you. I'm trying to read everybody's comments. Sorry. So this is the die. These are the dies that I use. So don't keep yourself thinking, oh gosh, I don't want to get the Dahlias because there's no dies. You can coordinate what you have. If you don't have these, you can find another pine of some kind in one of your sets. You can probably find another branch. You can find another big leaf. I cut this up, so we'll go over that. And then a flower, I just wanted something up towards the top. I mean, you could use so many different things. You could use, this even, or this, or even these, and take them, up to the top. I just wanted something to fill up that corner. So that'll kind of give you an idea of how I looked through what I had and chose some different ideas. Of course, we're going to use the Dahlia set. The color contour, the only thing I'm using is this little splatter right here. In the Dahlia, I'm going to use this one, this one, this one, this, and this one. Well, I use these two. Okay, I'll show you. This is like really technical right here. I'll show you. But okay, so I used the splatter, and I loved the Merry Christmas right here. out of the Evening Evergreen. And I think that covers all of the stamp sets. Okay, so this is what I used. You'll get everything listed below, but you'll get this image on my blog. So you'll get all that, knowing exactly what I got from where. So let's put this away because I've already did some die cutting. I have a lot of technical stuff to share with you. So I want to kind of get to the important stuff. You guys know what die cutting looks like, right? There's a couple things, important details. Another important detail I want to tell you is this card, other than the sentiment and the large dahlia, is all glued down. But it doesn't look like it because there's a lot of little tips and tricks that I did that will kind of, you know, show you that it's looks like it's kind of popped up, but it's not, because I wanted to make sure this is going to go in a card, a regular envelope, because I have 60 of them. So I want to make sure that these are ready to go. Okay, so the first tip I have for you is I would get a piece of paper like this, and then I took, now I'm going to go through a lot of little details on this because it's really going to help you in the long run. So then I took a block like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make this black. Now this is for people that have cut and scan, okay? Because this is going to help you understand how I did so many without a die on the dahlia. If you don't have a cut and scan, this is called the You'll Be Fussy cutting, unless you find a friend that has that. Okay, and I'm just going to do this quickly. I'm not going to make it everything a perfect stamp. Okay, so we've stamped this. Now you're going to take a pencil because, okay, let me pull this in a little bit for you. So what you're going to do is you're going to see these little spots that are open. So you're just going to close, oh, look, it's my last little piece of lead in here, I think. So hopefully it'll, there we go. You're just going to close all of your little pieces. Now, even these big white spots down here, I would go angle. So it, no, I would go all the way down so it will cut. So angle it, just go all the way down so it will cut and you won't have big white pieces. So just keep going all the way around anything that you see that's open and close it up, okay? So you're going to do that all the way around. Just make sure even the tiniest bit, because you know what happens is your scan and cut will go through that line and cut out the middle of your little flower there, and you don't want that. So I just kind of go, and so I'm not looking super carefully right now, but I just want to show you. Go all the way down, as like right here. Make sure you close that up. Close everything up. Then what you're going to do is you're going to scan this in your scan and cut, and you're going to save it onto your scan and cut. Okay? You're going to save it on. Now, what I did wrong is I should have done it right in the middle, and I'll explain that in a minute. So scan it in, take it back out, let it cut it. Okay, so you're going to scan it and save it, and then let it cut it. And then you're going to have a piece of paper with a hole in it, right? But you're going to have all your edges right where you want them, correct? Now you're going to take it and you're going to put it into your, okay, so now it's on your scan and cut, and you're going to take it and you're going to do a whole sheet of them, okay? So you're going to fill up your sheet full of your dahlias. Now you're going to take the one that's cut out and you're going to put it in your scan and cut, because when you get your dahlias out, they're going to all be white. You don't stamp them, okay? Just let it cut out the shape. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your cut out piece, which I just thought of this last night that I should share this part with you. You're going to take your, it's going to be cut out, and you're going to take your white shapes, okay? And you're going to put them in, and so you'll figure out which way they go. Let's just say this big leaf goes up to the right. You're going to have this in your scan and cut, in your Stamparatus, and you're going to lay this down there and you're going to stamp it. So you're going to have an image. Let Let me show you. So let's just pretend that this is the Dahlia. So you're going to put that in your Stamparatus. You're going to take all of those dahlias that you just cut and you're just going to lay them down right inside your paper, and it doesn't even have to be perfect. And you're going to stamp them. Okay, so then you just take your pokey tool or whatever, you pull it out, you put the next one in, and you stamp it. So this is your template. And what I did is I would mark top. So you knew that was the top. The Dahlia, you knew that, you know, let's say that this one was going to be always on that top right hand side. But in this case, see, you could, this one could go this way, but sometimes it doesn't fit the same. This is probably the way it was, because if you turn it over, and this is kind of a little different than a flower, but you get what I mean. Otherwise, you may try and put it in like this, but your Dahlia is facing up, and it's not going to fit. Does that make sense? I hope. So make sure that's your top. You add your Dahlia in, and you just keep stamping your Dahlias. And that's what I did. And I did the same thing with this image and this image. Okay, so I scanned all three of these in the Scan and Cut individually, and then I filled up the page with the flowers, filled up a page with these, filled up a page with these, did the same thing, created a template, and then I stamped everything. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you guys. So that's what I did with my Scan and Cut. That was the easiest way that I was thinking, how am I going to stamp all of these? Because there's a lot of them. And I just wanted to make sure I had that all correct. All right. So now, that being said, is there any questions about that part? I just want to make sure that you guys kind of understood that part. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to work from the back forward. So I have kind of a little kit over here prepared. So I have an envelope. My card base is Early Espresso. I have two 4x5 1/4. One is going to go on the inside, and one will go on the outside. What if you don't, Debbie? If you don't have a Scan and Cut or some type, I mean, a silhouette, I think you could do the same thing, but you would have to fussy cut. Would be my best guess, unless you know somebody that has one or something. Okay, so let's take our front page. We're going to put all of this aside until later. And the first thing I did is I'm going to take my Early Espresso, and we are going to stamp off, which you can see I did right here. So just stamp off, because I did my envelopes last night. And so I just kind of wanted some background. I think I also went up the side. Okay, so oops, I didn't stamp that one off, but that's all right. So that's what I did on the background. Just stamp that off. And now what I did is I did my branches. Let me just undo my little envelope over here to the side, because there's a lot of little pieces. Okay, so now what I did is I have a craft mat. So let me just move this aside for a second, because now you're going to see a lot of different technique stuff. And trying to find my craft mat. Really. Oh, it fell down. Okay, so here's my larger one. I guess I should pull out my smaller one. That would be easier. Okay. So I take one of the large craft mats and I cut it in quarters. So that's what I should have used. Okay, so I do these in white because I wanted to have some different textures in here. If I did these in Early Espresso and I just had them in Early Espresso, then it's going to be, it's not going to have much depth. Okay, so do you first make a template for use on So what I do, Katie, is I do I stamp my image like this, and then I scan it, and I do it kind of in the middle, and then I scan it. You take all your flowers and use template to stamp and help align. Yes. Okay. So I stamp it here. I scan it so it's in my system. And if this, doesn't get all crazy, or I'll put it back in and I'll just tell it to cut it. Cut one image out. So it doesn't have to be this. It could just be another piece of paper. And I put one on there and I cut it out so that I have my template like this. Then in the system, I go back in and I take my flower and I say, okay, put as many as you can fit on this sheet of paper. And then I tell it to cut it out. So then, and I think I do end up saving that because I did multiple of them. So then it cuts out all your flowers, and then you have your template that you cut out also. So you cut out one, on your template. Then I put this in my Stamparatus, and then after all those flowers are cut out that I wanted to have cut out, then I put the flower in my template, and then I stamp them all. I hope that makes sense. Hi, Nola. Hi, Linda. So then basically kind of like this, you would just take your all your flowers that you cut out, you'd put them back in the template and stamp it. And then pull this out and then put the next one in and just keep stamping them until they all have ink on them. So I hope that makes sense to everybody. Okay, so now I go on to the branches. So now we have these done. And let me just say really quickly, once your flowers are done, I take white, either re-inker, or you could take your white pad and squish it onto a block. Depends on how inky your white pad is. But usually I'll take a re-inker and just put a little bit on with a little bit of water, and then I splatter. So I have splatters on the flowers. This one you can probably see a little bit better. So I just splatter them and let them dry overnight. I just do it, it's like the last thing, and then I walk away and I let those dry that night. Okay, good, Katie. Okay, so then flowers are sitting, they've got splattered, they're done. Next day, I come in and I take my early espresso and I just kind of do that. Just kind of go on them, super quick, super easy. That's it. And then I let them dry. And they dry so fast. Hi, Linda, I'm in Clovis. How funny, that is very close. So then I just let those dry. And I just re-ink this, so it just depends on, how much darkness you want. They do lighten up, so we'll just set that one aside. And you can see how they lighten up. All right, you want to make sure you have all your color off because you're going to do more coloring. Okay, so you're going to do all of that with all of your branches. And it's kind of like a mass production. If you're doing a lot of these cards for Christmas or any Christmas cards, you want to kind of do them all in a mass production. If you can help it, don't go back and say, oh gosh, I got to cut more branches. Cut a lot. And you'll see that I ended up with extras, and that's what I do is I'm like, okay, how many dahlias do I have? That's how many cards I'm going to do. But I did make some extras. All right, so I'm just going to turn it over just so it makes sure it's dry. The next thing that I did is you're going to take your large leaf image, and this is for the Forever Flourishing, and this will be on my blog, but you want to, whenever I get close, you guys can't see, which drives me crazy, but can you see the impression of the die? So this die has little holes in it. All right, so see how it has those holes in it? So what I did is I just added another piece of cardstock on top. And so when I cut it and when I did the embossing, you can see that there's some texture there, okay? So this is in soft seafoam, and you want to do it in soft seafoam so that you get more of that texture and color. And I'm trying to, what did I do with my card? Okay, this was my first card, and I didn't put a gold ribbon on it in the background. And then this was my second one, and I started doing it in white and forgot that I had originally did it in the soft. So I did Old Olive on this one, but I liked this one better. I did the soft sea foam, and then I put the moss on top, the mossy meadow. And I just liked the texture and color of that better. So I did them all like this, kind of by accident. So this is what I'm going to teach you because I like this one better. Okay, so soft sea foam is what you want to use. And then you're going to bring in mossy meadow. And that's why these craft mats are so good. And Amazon has them. Thank you, Gail. Okay, same thing. You're going to take, you don't want to do this edge because you've got that lip. You want to turn it and do this edge. And you just kind of want to run over it. See how I did that? I'm going to bring you in a little closer. Just keep going until you get kind of what you want. And remember that your branches go this way. So you don't want to come this way because it's going to tear your little branches off. Let me come a little closer. Okay. So you're going to tear your branches off if you did it this way. So I'm just going to keep going. I want some darker on there. Okay. So I think that's good. Okay, so you see how I love the mossy meadow with the, let me see if I have a white one so I can show you the difference. I don't know if I have, I don't think, well, I have one that's done. So, and this was with Old Olive. But see how this just gives you so much detail, and I did not do an extra paper on this. I did it on one, but I told you I put it away, I brought it back out. I put it away, I brought it back out. So I forgot that I did the soft sea foam, and I also forgot that I added the paper. You can see on this one how there's a bunch of, there's little ones on the end that show that detail, but all of this in the middle didn't get that, like this one. So even if you were to go over this one with mossy meadow, it's not going to give you all the details. So don't forget to add that extra piece of paper. Okay. Thank you, Nola. Hi, Laura. So that's kind of what you want to, I mean, look at the difference. It's all that little detail that makes such a difference. You already have color on that. So it just gives you that, oh gosh, this is so pretty. I wish I would have done the rest like that. So, oh well. Live and learn, right? So there we go. So that's what we have on our next one. While you're doing this, you're going to cut it. So when you're all done, the first thing I did is I cut that. So you're going to have that little stem there, okay? Then you're going to go down here and you're going to cut your image. So you're going to see one of my little leaves with just a blunt cut there and another one right here. Okay? And so then now you're going to cut right there. Okay? So now I have 3 branches for one card. Do you mean add an extra piece of mat? Yeah, like a shim. Just take one extra piece of paper, and I think I just took, I think it might have been a thick white, but this is regular. But when you put your die in, just put that right on top of it and cut it. It just gives that little tiny bit of an extra push, and it leaves that image for you. Okay. So anyway, so that's how you're going to cut it. You're going to cut it in 3 pieces so that you can use it. That is not on my blog post because I said you really got to watch the video for the details. So if that's, let me just kind of do this for you so you can kind of have an image idea. So this one's going to go here, and then this one goes up here, and that is this one right here. Okay, from Forever Flourishing. All right, so hopefully that helps you. All right. So we'll push those aside. All right. Now, the next thing I did is I have the white little flower here. And this one again is from the Meadow Dies, this one right here. So these are the sets that we used on here. Well, not you don't want that one. There you go. So this is that one. I had them cut twice. Once for the full size one, and then just the small one. And I wanted enough till I have something to hold on to. Now, I do have alcohol markers that you could use, but I don't think I did that. I think I did the whole thing with markers. I mean, with the ink pads. So I believe I took the old olive, and I told you I started this back in when the other one was going. So I'm going to do the, okay, we're just, and that doesn't have to be solid, and I'm not worried about that because we're going to add the red on it, okay? You want to be careful because you have that little branch right there. But that's your green, so you're going to set that aside. We'll move that off so I can wipe this up real quick. We'll go back and forth here. All right, and then we're going to turn this one over, and you're going to do the red. And by doing all of this type of work, number one, it's fairly quick, okay? You just want to add your red, and it doesn't have to be super dark. It doesn't have to be, you know, the white on there is fine. That just adds more texture, so don't worry about that. Now what you're going to do is you're going to cut this off right at the base, because the bulb part at the bottom, you know, is green because that's how it's growing, right? And then you're going to take your glue. So yes, it is a lot of die cutting. A couple things to know. These kinds of things you don't really want to do on the cut machine. Here's my pet peeve about why I don't cut a lot on the cut and emboss. Or the cut and emboss. The scan and cut. I like to have my rounded images, my round die cutting to go on my images so that you have that roundness on your project. But with the Dahlia, there is no rounded, these are flat, okay? Because number one, you're gonna have to cut them out. There is no die. So to do it like on the scan and cut, and they don't have that nice roundness, I hope you understand what I'm saying. But that nice roundness is from a die. This would be fussy cut anyway, so I don't mind putting this in and getting it cut from the scan and cut. It doesn't have that roundness, but it's not going to because we don't have a die. I really want to try to make that guy. Debbie, I think you do need all of the dies. I think it just looks better because everything's more rounded with the dies. Like these branches are nice and rounded, so they look more realistic. If they were to be cut on the scan and cut, they would have that flatness to them, kind of like this does. And it's hard to tell on screen, but we don't have a choice with this because we don't have a die. I hope that makes sense, you guys. Okay, so that's your flowers. That's how quick it is to do your flowers. I did not want to try and take my red and just put it on. I didn't want to put a piece of tape there, and you know, this was just so easy. Plus it adds another layer of dimension by having those layered up on top of each other. So that's how I did the flowers. All right. Let's see. I don't know if I have enough flowers to create this, so let me look. I'm gonna have to do another one real quick. Let me look in my stash. Okay, we'll just do another one real fast. Oh, I have one. Here we go. And then I'll show you how I have to cut those later. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so the next thing I did, I also did these on the scan and cut. So I did have to make a couple extras, so I wasn't worried about that. So here they are. Now you could always stamp them and then die cut them out. Let's see. Oh, good. Bit of whimsy. That's a cute name. Dimensionals. Exactly, Nancy Lee. Okay, great. Yes. I love the dimension. Okay, so then here's your leaves. Now, you could stamp them and then have them die cut because they're pretty solid except in a couple places. I believe I just had them cut because we have the black outline. So I did that and then I cut a bunch and I did the same thing as I did with the flower. So here they are. And see, they go in. Some of them went in a little skinnier than others. So you got to kind of be careful of that, but it actually works out quite well. So there's those. And let's see, we have our image there. Let me see what else we need. 2 of those. Okay, so then we have that, the branches, the leaf. Okay, so we have our little flowers. I thought I had a couple, so yep, I have a couple of our little flowers. And I have our large flower. Now the other thing I did is I used Bedazzle. Oh, let's use these because I already have these on. This is another thing I like to do with my glue dots is I just put a bunch on there. You probably saw that on a picture last night on my page when I was working on finishing my cards. Now this is the die from this one, Seasonal Swirl. So I used this one pine one. But like I said at the beginning of this video, if you have other items that might be pines needles or whatever, you're going to see on this card, I just put the whole circle right here. And then I decided, you know, I have a lot of gold underneath there that I don't need. So then my thought was, is I wanted to put part up here and part down here. But if I do that, I have to scoot them in too close to hide the edges and not worry about all this. But I did add the ribbon too. So I was kind of like, okay, now what am I going to do? So I ended up, I just cut off this piece, which was, let's see, which was just this little kind of twiggy part, you know, like if the die were to cross over right there. So I just cut right there so I can kind of slide it in because I had my dimensionals under my Dahlia. So when this is on the card, I kind of went like this. And if I would have had it not, I would have had to stick it way out there, and I didn't want to do that. So now with the dimensionals, I have some space to kind of play with that. So let's put this one together. So this is kind of how I did it. Dahlia first. I wanted to kind of figure out where I want my Dahlia. And so I just kind of moved it around, figured it out, and I think I ended up with something right about there. So let's take that. And see, I only put 2 on there because there's going to be a lot of other stuff going on, right? So I'm not too worried. Oh, oops, beep, 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 back up. I have, let me see if this one fits. I decided to add the gold. So what I did, I almost forgot that. So what I'm going to do now is take this mat out. I just line this up and I get an idea of where I want that. So let me bring in another Dahlia. So I just kind of want it like right about here. So what I'm going to do is take a pen. How many die cuts are in each card? I feel like this is my Christmas tags again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think 14. Oh, well, this isn't a die cut. And I don't remember if I can with the Dahlia. So 14, 15, something like that. Okay, but remember that this is just one. This is one die cut, but you've cut it in 3 pieces to just kind of pop out in different places. Okay, so I'm going to put this right about here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and right about there. So I'm going to take that off. I'm making sure that's lined up, and then I'm going to take, I want my ribbon to just lay down nicely, so I'm just going to take this right across here and make it, well, that doesn't look even. Let's see. Oh, that's even. And that's even. Yep, that is. Okay. And then what I do is I just take my, why does that just does not look even? I think it's the dots that are throwing me off. Okay, so do that. And we'll make it even when we put it back on, so let's not worry about that. Now what I'm going to do, because I have my embossing, my white liner hanging out the edges, I'm just going to put this under. I can see the lines, so I'm just going to put those right there. Okay, and I can see the lines right through it. And I'm going to go right onto those lines. Okay, and that's what I did. And you could just put it on your ribbon, but I like to just kind of make sure, and that way you can kind of wiggle your ribbon into the spot exactly that you want. All right, so now let's take our dahlia. I think there's no rhyme or reason. I just kind of like it one way. All right, so then we're going to take this and put this right about there. Okay. Now the next thing I did is I took my branches. So I have plenty of branches. So you want 3. 1, 2. I made some extras of stuff. I was on a roll. Of course, if you guys are enjoying the video, I would love a thumbs up. That does help my YouTube. I still have only 50% of viewers are subscribed. You know, we can tell by looking at our records and our little analysis and stuff. So I'd love for you guys to subscribe. You guys can get notifications when I'm going to be live, that kind of thing. And it does help my channel tremendously. Okay, so now I'm just kind of spacing them out. Most of the items are in 3s. I try to keep it in 3s and just kind of make sure it's going to go in. This is going on top of your card base, okay? So you have a tiny bit of wiggle room off of your white, but not a whole lot. So try to keep as much on the white, but naturally poking off, if it does, is fine and preferred. Actually, for me, I prefer it to kind of go off a little bit. All right. Okay. If you don't have this set, if you're playing bingo, I am going to be doing a additional giveaway for a dahlia. All right, so we're gonna just kind of see where your opening is, and you got to be careful because there's glue on here, right? So you want to be careful you're not sliding it all the way in because you don't want glue all over everything. So that's why I just kind of get an idea of where your dahlias are. And it's funny, as you're going along and you're adding all these pieces, it's kind of like after, you know, every 2 pieces, you're like, oh, I could just stop right there. It's such a pretty card. And if you look closely at this card, it does not even have to be Christmas. You could totally put a different sentiment on there. Thank you, Carol. So if you wanted this to be a birthday or, you know, just something different, you definitely could. All right, but you're going to see how much I'm gluing down and not using dimensionals. Okay, then I just kind of make sure, because I put some glue at the bottom of each of them, make sure, you know, it's not going anywhere. All right, so next we're going to bring in our leaves that we colored. So what I did is I did the large one, I believe is over here. No, the large one I did over here because there's a big opening over here. So I kind of just stuck that in there. This one I put up here, just layer it up. And then this one I put down here. Okay, and we'll fix it all in there, but let's just do this first. And you're going to layer so many things up that you don't need a whole lot of glue. You just need it to not go anywhere. And just stick it in there. All right, so we're going to go in here and just add it. And I just am tucking it enough because I don't want to see the stem, but you don't have to tuck it all the way in. Once you're adding a bunch of stuff, you want to still make sure you can see all that pretty greenery. So this one for sure is going to be angled so I can see a lot of it. One of our daughters, the youngest, she is moving to Montana. So Dad is traveling with her to help her take her belongings. Okay, so I think what I did here is I decided to pull that branch up and then tuck this underneath. It just looks more realistic to intertwine things like that. I'm going to turn this some. Okay, so I'm going to have this little branch hanging here, which is fine. And that branch is going to come down. Okay. All right, so there's that. I'm going to make sure that that's, oh, this one's not in yet. I'm like, wow, that's really loose. Oh. Thanks, Gail. The branches, Michelle, is early espresso. On this one, you mean? Or these? These are I keep wanting to say soft succulent, soft sea foam with mossy meadow on top. All right, then this one we're going to pull over here and just kind of leave sticking out this way. And I'm kind of tilting these this way because we're going to put that other branch out there, right? So you just got to kind of think about where your other items are going to go also. Okay, the next thing I did is I did do the gold. So again, I just I like to make sure all the little brad things are out. So make sure you do that. Okay, and now we're going to add our glue. I put quite a bit on the stem and on the little leaves, but other than that, and you know what, now that I'm thinking about this, I think I used glue dots on this. I think I did a glue dot on the two ends and then one up here in the middle, but it doesn't matter. However you want to do it. I had so many of them that I used glue dots. All right, and now we're just going to pull our flower up a little bit. We want the edge of our flower, the edge of our circle in on both sides so that it doesn't, you don't see that raw edge that you cut. All right, and because I did that, I'm just going to add that really quickly. Okay, so the other thing you're going to do, and you can cut off the brown, you probably noticed on these that I cut off the edges. This is what it looks like, the one I just did. And then here's that. So cut those off because it's going to be a lot easier for you to slide them in everywhere. Okay. Hi, Cheryl. So it's easier for you to tuck them in. So make sure you cut those off. Okay. All right. So that's down. So same with your flowers. What I did is I cut right below here. So here we have this one. Oh, wait, let's put these. Oh, wait. Yeah, I did these first. Okay, and again, you're noticing everything is flat except the dahlia. Okay, but it doesn't really look it. Okay, and we're going to get to a little bit more of that too, because this one I kind of curled up the edges and it was already done, but let's just pretend this is a dahlia. So you're going to take your bone folder, and this is after you color it and before you add your white. And I just kind of did that. Okay, so it just gives it a little bit of a dimension. And so that's what I did with those. These I'm not doing anything. They're going to be flat. And you just got to figure out where your uh-oh. Now I'm stuck on my foam squares, or my dimensionals. All right, come on. Okay, so I went inside, and now these branches are stuck on the dimensionals. So we're just going to put that one right where it's at, which is fine. It's up in the corner. How funny is that? All right, so let's just pull it up kind of. No, I don't like it there. All right, hold on. There we go. So don't do that. All right, so I want this way up here. So we're gonna have to go this way and then turn it and it'll be fine. Okay, so we're just gonna lay that down there. And so sometimes, because it's gonna be sitting right on top of the bedazzle, I'm gonna make sure it's gonna stay. So we're gonna bend that down. Okay, now let's take this and cut right there again. And you don't really have to glue your stems because you're going to have other stuff layering and it's going to be tucked behind. But just make sure you have a good amount of glue on the top part here. Okay, and then I'm going in the same spot, but I'm going down farther, so it kind of gives that height difference right there. Okay, so we'll just set that there. Okay, now with your leaves like this, so let's just say, I don't even know if I have one on here. Well, I do, one that broke. But the same thing, take your bone folder. Now these you're going to have to be super careful with because you've got these two little tiny ones there. So when you're doing it, hold right here. Just kind of let this hand do the work. Don't pull. Just turn and turn and turn, and that's all you need. Okay, so it just gives your leaves a little more lift to them. So I added quite a bit right here because they're going to be going on all kinds of little layers, and we're going to tuck this one. Okay, so now you know your sentiment's going to go here. We're going to have a flower here and a flower up here, so I just kind of want to fill in just a little right here, and you just don't even need to tuck it that much because you want to see your flowers. Hi Gloria. What set is the wreath from? It is from the Seasonal Swirl. So it's the one that's got the 3 different, I think this is the holiday one, and it's the pine, but you can use any kind of like a pine needles or anything that you want to just kind of fill that spot up. You could even, if you don't have that, I would definitely use these little harvest things over here and just kind of, you know, put 3 in there somewhere just to add. What type of glue am I using? Oh, this is just the, it's the multi-glue. I just pour it in here because I like this bottle. Okay, so there's that. And then now we need the other one. Now this one we only have 2. Because we've got so much of the other stuff going on. I didn't really feel the need for 3 because we've got all this over here and we're going to do these down here. So now we're just going to fill this space up. Okay, and it doesn't even have to be all of it sticking out or in. You can see the leaves and that's enough. And I did, like when I put a block there when I did this one, and then I would put a block here and I would move them over when I did the next card. Because I did these in like a assembly line kind of thing. Okay. So there's that. Now your flowers, I already took the flowers and layered them up. So this is how they look when they're flat. Okay. And so I did the same thing. I just curve just to give it some dimension. And you really want to do that before you splatter them, because I just knocked off all the splatter because the whites kind of piles up on top. So you just want to make sure that, you know, you're not rubbing it all back off. So do that first, splatter everything, and then they're ready to go. And then I like to take my tool to take them off, because sometimes that glue dot, those hold really well, right? So they're gonna tear. So I'm gonna put that one there, and then I'm gonna put this one like right about here. And I like to just make sure I squish the glue dot, because some of them are on, this one's on branches, this is on the bedazzling paper, and you want to make sure it's on there. Oh, Susan, I'm so glad. Welcome. Okay, so there we go. There's that so far. And I'm just realizing something, but I will figure out something. Oh, goodness. Okay, so there's that. Now we have our sentiment. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take, this is, I think it is 5/8. Yeah, 5/8 of an inch. And then I think it's by 4. It's whatever my paper was. And then you're going to take your Merry Christmas. Now this is a tight, kind of a little bit of a tight squeeze on here. So when you think your Y is going to go off, it won't. Now let me do it on camera and see what happens. All right, so now my head hopefully won't get in the way. But you want to make sure your M is on there and the rest of your word is kind of in the middle. Now it looks like the Y is off, but it's very, very close. So don't let that, don't think that, oh no, the Y is going off, it's not going to work. It does work. And that is from, and everything's listed below, but everything is also at the very beginning. I went over in detail what I used for what. I did put alcohol markers for these flowers at the top here, but I actually didn't use those, so I'm going to change that. But the Evergreen Elegance is where the Merry Christmas came from. And then on this one, I just used this splatter. I liked this splatter versus the Gorgeous leaves because it's a little more spread out. It's not so dense, even though I know there's 2 of them in the Gorgeous leaves. I just liked this one better. So make sure that, you know, you pick out which one you want. There's a couple other ones that could have been used, but I just liked that one. Okay, so no matter how long it is I just go up, and I wanted it kind of close and not huge banners. So a huge banner would be, I'll show you, when you go cut like this, and a huge banner would be if you went like way up at the top like that. And I didn't want that. I just want a little bit. And so I just kind of, you know, do that. And as long as they're close, I don't really mind. And this one's a little less than this one, so I'm going to cut this one down, which means I'm coming over to the side just a little bit more to make it not so long. Okay, now let's go ahead and adhere this to our card. And I used Seal because this is really not heavy. This is not, you know, there's not a lot of layers on it. It's very flat, except just the texture that you added that I showed you what we did. Okay, so just by some of the texture, the only thing so far that's on dimensionals is the Dahlia. All right, so I definitely make sure I go over the ribbon. I'll put a little in the middle because of the Dahlia. All right, so we're going to go and put this on right about here. So you can see some of your branches are a little over, and this was a little, you know, over, and that's good. It's all going to fit fine. Now we're going to take our sentiment, and I like to have the edges go up. Why are you using a stamp set that isn't current? Amy, a lot of people ask if I could use things that aren't current because they still have them. And there's a lot of stuff I am using that is still current. So the Dahlia is not current and the Bedazzle is not current. But all of this is. And I had already explained that they could use the Dahlia, they could use a different flower, and they can use a different type of bedazzle or gold paper or whatever they want. These are my Christmas cards, and so I thought I would share. And I get a lot of people that say, I wish people would use some retired stuff because I have that. So that's what I'm doing. All right, so now we're going to take, I did use dimensionals. Thank you, Linda. Oh, good, Gloria. With a mail, you know what? No, I have tested, especially, I mean, in my opinion, and I've not noticed it. I've even done this sentiment, and I'll show you how I put it on, and it will flatten in the mail where it's not going to cause an issue, but it just pops right back up because I've curled it that way. So when I put it on, I don't put it on just like that. I do kind of stretch it out just a little bit because I don't want it to get messed up in the mail. So I do pull it out a tiny bit. So I just do the 2 dimensionals on the back. So you saw I curl this one up, this one up. So the Mary, I pretty much curl this way. And then the Christmas, I curl under. And then I just have that side up. I want my gold ribbon to show. So I'm just going to go right above that. And I'm going to just kind of put it on. But see how it still has that little bit of a dimension, but it can go flat and it will kind of pop back up. Thank you, Sharon. I hope so, Janet. I love it. I have a lot of it. Like I told you guys, you will see it because I love it. And I know a lot of people have it. Okay, so that's this one. Now what I did is on the inside, we are going to take our Dahlia. I'm going to bring in my, I love these, bring that in. So let's do this in red. All right, and then I just took my Dahlia. Now I haven't marked because I was doing that one right there. I was kind of doing them all. That's how I did my template that I showed you. So we're just going to add that. Oh, I just put it where the envelope is instead of the bottom. Okay, we're going to do something else because I need my mat anyway. I forgot to grab my mat. Okay, so my mat is because it is a polymer. So we're going to turn that over and do that again. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate it. Okay, so now we're going to go in the corner here. Oh, Michelle, you're very sweet. Thank you. All right, so we did that. Now we have our red Dahlia. I'm going to kind of wipe it off so I don't get my arms stuck in it. And now all I did is how I did my leaves, and I'll show you, is I'm going to take my old olive. And I did this on the inside, but I did not do it on the envelope because really for time purposes, and it's going to go through the mail. Who knows what that's going to end up looking like. I didn't want to get my envelope too wet. But then I take the Mossy Meadow with my dauber, and I just kind of go over the edges like that. That's going to be on this side. Okay. And then I just wipe it off quickly because I don't want my Mossy Meadow and my old olive. And then now I kind of do on this side a little bit. And then I just kind of go right here. All right, so there is what I did with my leaves. We're going to bring our early espresso back in, and this is exactly how I did the envelope, except you're going to see that I didn't add the mossy meadow. Okay, so we're going to take our early espresso. Oh, thanks, Deborah. Oh, thanks, Tashana. Okay, so then again, early espresso you want to stamp off, and I just kind of went on the leaves. Kind of on the leaves, kind of on the flower, so that it doesn't look like it was intentional, like, oh, only leaves. Just kind of put that on there. It just ties it in with the card. All right, so we're going to add this to the inside. Hello. So back to the question of why I am using retired stuff. Yes, this is my job and I want to sell stuff, but my thought is if you're using stuff that's current with retired stuff, that's what my customers do. So I have no problem using retired stuff. Oh, I just put that in the wrong card. I put that in the one I hadn't done yet. So let's see if I can hurry up. Did you know if you huff on this and do hot air, it can come off, but you got to do it kind of quickly. So I'm just huffing hot air. Oh, thanks, Janet. Well, my customers will be getting cards. But I have two different cards, so it just, it depends. These are, well, family and customer. I have to come up with my guidelines on who's getting what. Because I've got two different cards, but I've got some gift things and just some different stuff. So, all right, so there we go. We'll put that there. And then here's the envelope. I didn't have to redo that. Now the other thing that I was laughing about, and I don't think I have any more, but I'm looking really quick. Okay, so I had so many of these and I've used all the colors up except on these I used the greenish color ones on here, but I'm just going to use the gold. Let's see what that'll look like. But I want the small and the large, and I've used all of that. Okay, hold on. Let me look in my pile. I just finished them last night and I said, oh good, I have plenty. And I had exactly the right amount of what I needed, but I thought I bought more, so I'm just going to look really quick. And I have a lot of things. So I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to use these. Because I'm out of the other ones, and this one doesn't have the small and the larger in the gold, I'm going to use these. I'm sure I have a package open already, but that's all right. So should I use the red or should I use the gold? I kind of think the red will show up better. Okay, I'm trying to... Same, Cheryl. I started with Stampin' Up, not with selling, but with Stampin' Up product in 1991. My son was little. Oops, nope, I think I'm going to use the red. but I went through and destashed a lot at one time. Well, more than one time. Okay, so I just do 2 over there, and then I do 1 up here. So we went with the red because I don't have any of those other ones, but they are on my list to get because I love them. And you can tell I've used so many. I'm down to the gold and the rose gold is all I have left in here. So there we go. And there's our envelope. And there's our card. I hope you guys liked it. It's such a fun card. And yes, it seems like there's a lot of detail and a lot of work. And there is. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That's why I did it in a group. And you can tell that this is what I've done with these. And so I have 60 in here. And then I did the envelopes. There's a whole bunch of envelopes back here, but look how pretty they look. So I did all my envelopes, all my insides, everything is done with these. I'm ready to go. That was one of my cards. My other cards are already done. I'm going to have to go back and read everything. Yeah, the Eden's Garden, I'm actually doing a class in person on it. I've done a couple videos on it, and that's what happens is a lot of times as demonstrators, we use what's new and we use what's available, and when we get something new, we're so excited. Thanks, Katie. And so we get super excited that we actually have something new to play with, and the Eden's Garden is new and everybody's wanting to see it. And so I've done some stuff with it, and I have to say the gems, if you guys got my thank you card last month, you got your pretty little gems on it. And because I love them. I love the gems. I just bought 10 more packages, and I have them on my list again. But I'll be playing with that more later. I haven't used Christmas in a little while, so I thought, oh, I want to, do a Christmas card again. And I was finishing this up, and my upline's the one, actually, Sherry said, you got to do a video on that. So I was like, okay, all right, I'll do it. But it's been in I have this big 31 tote. And I think I told you guys that I was taking it with me to go camping to work on my project. Well, that's what I was doing. Is I got the card bases, cut and folded, and I did all my little espresso in the background, and I think I added my dahlias and my branches, and then that was it. And then it sat here for 2 months, and now I'm finally finishing them. Aw, thank you, Janet. So if I have something that's retired that you want to see, or if there's a set, well, okay, so my Bingo Tuesday night is going to be from the annual catalog. There's a lot of sets in there that I just really like that I haven't had a chance to play with other than maybe doing a video with them. And so I am doing more from the annual catalog on Tuesday night. So I hope you'll join Bingo. And if not, you can stop by and see the projects anyway. But we're going to have a lot of fun. Thanks, you guys. Oh, Cheryl, I'm sorry to hear that. I'd love to have you if that, becomes what happens. But I hope she gets better. Oh, thanks, Debbie. Thanks, Patsy. Thanks, everybody. Gosh, you guys are so sweet. So Tuesday night is my bingo. And it is, I am prepping on Wednesday. So I ask that everybody try to sign up 5 days prior. I will always have a couple of kits available, but they may sell out before Tuesday. So I just want to make sure, especially this time of year, things are so crazy. And so I want to make sure that I get the kits at least most of the way prepped for you, and so I can get them out to you as soon as possible. I already have my my thank you cards prepped and ready for you. And so I'm really excited about that. And so let's see what else. Oh, thank you, Terry. You guys are so sweet. I'm sure I didn't get to thank everybody, but thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. A thumbs up would be awesome. Cheryl, thank you very much. So a lot of people don't realize that with YouTube, thumbs up, comment after the live if you come back and comment. Sometimes that's when I do prizes. And so maybe I'll do that. If you guys come back and comment on this video on Wednesday, today's Sunday, Wednesday, I'll do a giveaway. So come back and comment on the video and I will do a prize for on Wednesday's video. And then if you subscribe today, I will also do a drawing because only 50% of my viewers are subscribers. Let's see. Do we need to have any dies or stamp sets? Nancy Lee, I posted what I'm using, but you can always use and learn a technique and learn something, and then you can always use a different stamp set. So I die cut everything out that I can for you, unless it's something that I have to stamp. So for example, the sunflower, you can see on the bottom right side, you will get the sunflower, the gold bedazzle paper, and the leaves. But if there's anything like the sentiment, I can't stamp that for you. But if anything that I can do, then I will have it die cut for you. So there are some items that you may just pull something out of your stash that if you have to stamp a flower and then die cut it out, pulling out something that you have. So I try to make things as easy as possible to try and use other items. So I hope that helps you. But like I said, die cuts I do for you. You're welcome to Shauna, Sia. Yes, Katie. To have any, yeah. So Nancy Lee, it's a lot of fun. I think you'll have a lot of fun. We have a great time. Oh, good, Cheryl. Thank you. Thank you, Robin. Thanks, Kathy. So if you sign up for my bingo, you can go over to my blog, which is right there. And you can go at the top. It says events and classes. Click on that. Go to November's bingo. And then you can read the details. There's a registration form. That's how I know that you're registered. I get your numbers, all that kind of stuff. But then there's also like a red, it says pay here. You could go pay there. It's only $35. I do give good prizes away, and it depends on the amount of people. And so normally it's a $100 shopping spree, and I do 4 of them. So it just depends on how many people. I need to get some more people this month so we can get up there. And but we've got some really great projects. And I usually do some kind of other prizes and giveaways too. Sometimes you get a little something in your package. And it just depends on the amount of people is really what it comes down to. But we have a lot of fun. So you'll get the kits after bingo. So you can enjoy it, watch bingo, we'll play, we'll do the cards, we'll chat, talk, and craft. And then I'll mail the kits to you. And then what I do is I put a timeline in the description. And it'll say card number 1 is at, 10 minutes and 20 seconds or whatever. So you can just skip right to that and skip over all the bingo stuff. Is it late to sign up for? No, Gloria, you can sign up now. Absolutely. There should be a link below to you guys. There should be a link that says November Bingo. Thanks, Perry. I'll see you on that Tuesday. I'll be here this Wednesday. But after that, yes, I'll see you at bingo night. I'm cutting it off 5 days prior, Gloria. And so really I'm cutting it off on Wednesday because I leave out of town Thursday. And I don't want to come home Monday night and worry about people's kits not being made. Although I'm not sending them until after. So if I get more people, I can get more kits. But I want to, I'll probably make 10 extra kits or 5 extra kits or whatever. It depends on where we're at. But I'll always round up or put an extra few kits on there. But once they're gone, they're going to be gone. You are welcome, Karen. That's great, Nancy Lee. That's perfect. I actually still have 2 of those kits left. I have 2 of the tags kits left. And so if anybody's interested in those, I think it might be linked below. But if you go into my shop on my blog, instead of events, right next to it, it says shop. If you go there, you can click, and if I still have kits left over, they're available for purchase. So you can go and purchase those there. So if anybody is interested in any of those items, like my little notebook, calendar, post-it note holder, that's available. That whole kit's available, and the tags. And I think I have 2 fall card kits left, something like that. All right, everybody, if you don't have any more questions, I will see you on Wednesday. I will be doing a masculine card. So be prepared. That'll be a lot of fun. It's a really cute card. And I will see you then. So have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.